YouTube, it's Kim, and it's not Friday, it's Wednesday. Kristin was feeling a little bit under the weather today, so she's unfortunately not able to post, so I told her that I would fill in for her, and hopefully she'll be feeling a little bit better by Friday, and we'll be able to post something. So, this is just a little bit of a pre-edit to my video this week. I actually filmed my video last week, so, we were talking a little bit about the biggest struggle that we've encountered in dating someone who is trans, and I actually went through a lot this week, and a lot of the things that I had to say are maybe not quite so relevant, but first of all, I just wanted to say that I watched Carrie's video on Monday, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something to the effect of that it's not a struggle, it's this really amazing journey that he's going through, and he wants you to be a part of it. And I just really, really like Carrie and Quinn's positive outlook on the experience of being trans and dating a trans person, and Carrie actually really helped me out a lot to realize a possible cause and solution for a lot of the issues that we've been going through lately, which I will talk about later in this video. But, so she really did help me out a lot, and it's actually, things are really moving in the right direction, and I'm actually feeling a lot better about it. So, if that encourages any of you, I hope so. But, I just want to say thanks so much to Carrie, your Monday girl. She really did help me out a lot, and I really enjoyed watching her video. So, without further ado, here's my video, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and feel free to comment or message me if you have any questions. Okay, have a great week. Bye! Hello YouTube, it's Friday, it's week 4. Today I'm going to be talking about a little bit more of a serious subject. Recently, one of our viewers made a comment on one of our videos, I think it was Elizabeth's video, asking some questions, and it just really brought up a big issue for me that when Jake first started his transition, I was really reaching out for feedback from some other partners of trans people, and I just never really found the feedback that I was looking for. So this is something that I really wanted to talk about and maybe get some suggestions and comments from the other ladies as well, or even other viewers, and there might be some other partners out there who are looking for the same kind of answers that I was too. So it's an issue that's still kind of a big issue for us too, so I just really wanted to talk about it this week. So this week we are talking about what is the biggest struggle that you've encountered in dating someone who's transgender, and how you overcome that or deal with it. So I just want to start with, the biggest obstacle for me in dating someone who's transgender was not even the physical stuff. Like, I don't care about the physical things and the changes and everything like that. It's something that Jake really needed to do for himself, and I encourage it. I'm proud of him for it, and my big issue wasn't even with that. My biggest issue and struggle has been with the emotional parts of it and the mental parts. And when Jake first started transitioning, like I said before, I knew that Jake was trans going into this relationship, and even when we dated before, I knew. So it wasn't a new thing. But maybe pretty soon, maybe a few months or so into the relationship, he decided to start transitioning and start going to see a therapist and start tea and everything. So this was like a huge major turning point for him when he was going to actually have to confront a lot of these issues that he had dealt with his entire life and tried to ignore and get over it. Now it's like bringing everything to the forefront for him, and he has to deal with it now. And I think that was a huge struggle for him, and he was really stressed out and scared and upset about it. And so when he first started on tea, I definitely noticed a huge difference in the emotional aspect of our relationship. And from the beginning, and even when we dated before a long time ago, he was always a really romantic person. We were really intimate, and also going forward in this video, anytime that I mention the word intimacy, I don't mean sex. I mean like holding hands, hands, touching, kissing, being intimate with each other, not necessarily just having sex, because I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it other than just sex. You know, there's a lot of the day-to-day, like, you know, being romantic with each other, things you say, the way you interact with each other. And so from the very beginning of our relationship, we were always on the same page all the time. Like, you know, we felt really strongly about each other, and we knew that we wanted to be together forever, and he would always do these really intimate romantic things. And especially when he started tea, those things just stopped. Like, it just fizzled out, and we weren't really relating to each other on that level anymore. And I felt like the honeymoon was over for him, but it wasn't over for me yet. And so I started getting kind of upset about it, and trying to reach out to other partners to see if, you know, is this a trans issue? Is this a thing that a lot of trans guys go through when they're just adjusting to all these changes and not really relating to the relationship in the way that they used to? Or is this just a Jake issue? You know, or is this an issue that all couples go through? You know, is this just like kind of the 2-year slump where it's like, okay, we're together and that's great, but we're not like lovey-dovey anymore, you know? And I just really miss those things about him. I kind of started resenting the fact that he wasn't paying me that type of attention like he used to. So I just felt like it was really time to reach out and kind of find some answers and communicate about those things. So, like I said, when I was looking for those types of answers, I wasn't really getting the results that I was looking for, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to about that type of stuff. So I feel like it's really important to talk about these subjects. If you don't know how to talk about it with your partner, it's really great to get some ideas from other couples and see how they've dealt with these things. So I'd love to hear from the other ladies' videos as well, if this is a similar issue that they encounter or not, or if it's just me. But I know for a fact now that it's not just me. And I feel like it's really important to talk about it, because sometimes in this relationship I feel so alone. Like, even when we're together and just sitting together, like, sometimes it's just not the same. I feel those walls and barriers that he's putting around himself, and I just feel so alone. And sometimes it's nice to hear from other people that it's not just me and that they're in a similar situation. So, and also, babe, if you watch this video, I'm really sorry if I get really personal about any of these things, and might have to go back and edit the video a little bit, but it's just something that's really been on my mind lately, and something I really need to talk about for myself. So yeah, so I would say when he first started tea, a lot of those issues came up, and at first, you know, I thought it was me. I was like, is it me? Is he not attracted to me anymore? So I was like trying to go to the gym more and wear makeup more and dress up and stuff, and like trying to make sure that I always looked good around him so that he would be attracted to me and want to be intimate with me. But I realized that it's not me, and it's not a unique issue. I mean, I feel like for him, there was his dysphoria really came out when he started transitioning, because, you know, he's confronting all these issues, like I said, and I feel like he just got kind of uncomfortable in his own skin for a little while, so he didn't know how to relate to his partner on a relationship level, you know, when he's not really comfortable with himself, which, I mean, I'm sure a lot of females can relate to also when we're having, you know, a fat day or an ugly day, and we don't want to, you know, I feel like anybody goes through that type of situation, but it's just kind of an ongoing issue for us. So I was like, well, how do I fix it, and how do I talk to him about it? And we did start communicating about it a little bit, which helped. And, you know, I kind of just had to tell him, like, look, these are my wants and needs, and I want to be with you, but it feels off, and I feel like it's, you know, something we need to work on. And he always, you know, agrees that he wants to be with me and he wants to work on it. So things did get a little bit better, you know, and we kind of just readjusted, and I tried to stop being so, like, needy and head over heels about it, you know, and just be us and give him the space that he needs when he needs it, and he would try to give me, you know, a little bit more attention when I needed it. So, but then I would say when he scheduled surgery, he kind of started freaking out again, and, you know, was really stressed out about having the money for surgery and not letting his work find out about it because they don't know that he's trans, and just going through this whole huge change. I think it made him confront a lot of these issues again, and so there was like this big gap between us again. He just kept like pushing me away, and anytime that I tried to be intimate with him, he would either push me away or, you know, just not want any of that physical stuff. And I just, like I said, kind of started even resenting him for it a little bit, just because it's like, you're completely ignoring anything that I need, and, supposedly I'm the woman that you love and want to be with for the rest of your life, but you're kind of treating me like I'm just one of your friends, and it was just a really hard time that we went through and have been going through for maybe like the past 6 months to a year-ish, and like I said, we just keep talking about it and communicating about it. I know now that it's not me, it's not my fault, and anytime that we need to talk about it or fight about it, he does reassure me that he loves me and he wants to be with me, and I believe that the big issue is just all these like insecurities that he has about himself during his transition, and it's really hard to relate to someone else when you're going through something like that. And I mean, he does know that I love him and support him. I'm there for him, and it's not necessarily all about the physical stuff, but it's just sometimes you need that, and sometimes it's like his feelings and his stressed outness and insecurities outweigh his partner and the things that I want and need, and it's like, how do you meet in the middle and compromise on things like that? It's kind of hard, and I just felt kind of ignored and neglected, and but I mean, albeit any time that we go through this type of struggle, he always makes up for it, and he always reminds me how much he loves me. And actually on Valentine's Day, we had a really, really romantic, really thoughtful Valentine's Day date, and it was perfect, and it really did remind me that, he really does care. He just needed some time to focus on himself. So, like I said, I mean, this is something that we still struggle with, and we still have to communicate about a lot. And I think, like Kristin said too, you get tired of talking about the same things over and over and fighting about the same things. But, I feel like I said, it's kind of something that just comes with the territory, and something that we're always going to have to kind of deal with, which sucks, but I do love him, and I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, even though I can't see it. I want to keep hoping that we really can work it out and compromise, but, it's just hard to, like, even, because I don't want to force someone to be intimate with me and want to be with me and want to spend time with me. You don't want to force anybody to do that, because then it's not genuine, it's not from the heart. It's like he's just doing those things because he knows that's what I want, and he doesn't want to lose me, but it's just really hard to compromise on that, because then how do I compromise? Like, oh, he doesn't want to be intimate with me, he doesn't want to cuddle or kiss or hold hands right now, so I'm just supposed to sit back and just let it go and not want those things. I mean, I'll always want those things. It's like a really, really deep desire for intimacy from your partner, and I know that I have that deep need for the attention and love from him, because it's not something that I ever really got from my family and my parents as a kid, which is a whole other can of worms. But so I know that it's an issue for me. Like, I'm really needy, and I need to stop being so in his face about it. But it's really hard when you feel like the man that you love should be that one person who's always there to support you and love you and give you attention when you need it, and when you need to talk about things, he should be there, and it's like he's actually way more of an introvert than I am, and when he's struggling with something, he just wants to keep it in. He doesn't want to talk about it, he just deals with it on his own. And that has always been really something that's really hard for me to understand, because whenever I'm going through something, he's the one person in the world that I want to talk to about it, and I need his support and like reassurance and his perspective on things. So it's just hard coming from a place where I really, really need that love and attention. He's this introvert who wants to be left alone, and it's like, how do we meet in the middle? And I will say that I feel like our relationship really has changed since he started T. At first I thought that he was just kind of trying to give off this manly persona, like, you don't want to be, you don't want to need all this time and attention with your girlfriend. You just want to be a guy, one of the guys, like I felt like he was trying to put off that manly persona, and that's why he was kind of pushing me away. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I feel like since he started T, he definitely has been less romantic and less intimate and less attentive to our relationship and me and my needs. But I feel that I could be a little bit more attentive to his needs too. But like I said, it's just a really hard thing to compromise on. How do you meet in the middle with that? And any suggestions are definitely welcome. But I would definitely like to hear from some other couples or partners and see if this is something that they go through as well, and how they overcome it. I would say that my best advice for overcoming those types of situations is communication, definitely. I feel like when I hold it in and don't talk to him about it, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it just builds up and builds up until I freak out on him. And yeah, it is kind of the same fight, the same argument and conversation that we have over and over and over again, but it's something that upsets me and I need to deal with, so I need to talk to him about it no matter how many times we have to talk about it. So communication is definitely key. Another thing that I found really helps is just not pressuring, making him feel comfortable, and also letting him know that he is the man in the relationship. Making him feel like the man and playing the manly role makes him a lot more comfortable in the intimacy department, such as like letting him hold doors for me, letting him drive, letting him pay for things, letting him be the man and wear the pants in the relationship. You know, as like basic and taboo as that is, it really does help him because it makes him feel more like a man and it makes him feel more comfortable in that department. Another thing that he really struggled with, he right after or during he was having top surgery, he talked about the fact that a lot of guys find that top surgery makes the dysphoria about the bottom parts even harder, like even harder to deal with. And so it's kind of like, well, great, you know, we're going through this huge step and already you're looking at like, oh, what's the next thing that I can stress out about and be upset about? What's the next thing that's going to be an intimacy blocker for us? And so I'm kind of like, why are we going through this whole thing if it's all for nothing? But I think that's just something, you know, like I said, surgery really brought up a lot of issues for him and a lot of the dysphoria that he's been dealing with because, you know, it just kind of brought attention to the whole thing, and that kind of sucks. So I know that he did need some space with that, and it's hard to relate to someone on an intimate level when you're going through something like that, and I get it. But I just need him to get that I have these wants and needs that cannot be fulfilled by anybody else but you. So, but I do feel like right now we're in a pretty good place. I mean, we are definitely making some life changes for ourselves that could lead us in the right direction. I really do want to move in with him. I want to get married to him and have a little family with him. So we're definitely making some moves toward that in somewhat of a sense. But it is a big issue for us. Intimacy is a big issue for us as a trans couple. And I would love to hear your feedback and your suggestions on that. And I think that's pretty much it. But just so you know, Jacob, I love you, and I will never leave. And I know that he will never leave either. It's just a big thing that's been burning on my mind lately, and it's nice to get it off my chest with you guys. So, if you have any suggestions or answers for me, I would really love to hear it. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye!